Freaking good.
We're going to get toasty. All these lights.
Is that the ductless units that they have in?
In there, yeah.
It's nice. 2 on stage, too.
Yeah, how'd that feel?
I'm not sweaty.
No?
Good, yeah. That's good.
You don't seem very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. Lucia was really excited, too.
She was excited for this?
Yeah. I said the same thing to her that I said to you, though. Like, I'm not sure if I have enough value to put on this thing.
Yeah, man. Everybody says that. So have any of these episodes been valuable?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally everybody is like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know what I have to say. I don't know.
It's everyday people, man. You know.
Yeah, that's what makes it so good.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not
people
that are going, yo, I got something I need to tell the world.
I know. Well, like I watched Brody's episode.
Yeah.
And I know Brody very, very well, you know.
Yeah.
And that was Brody in the episode. Same conversations we've had. I mean, that's authentic Brody.
That's always him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Be like Brody. That goes on in my head every once in a while.
Listen, the part in there where you're talking about how calm he is, I'm the total opposite of that.
Yeah,
so without Brody and that demeanor, we're in trouble.
Dude, I know you're the total opposite.
We're in trouble.
Because you and I race for the panic button.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Instantly.
We're fighting over it.
Yeah, I mean, instantly.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the I'm Here For It podcast. Whatever you're going through in life, whatever life looks like, it might be crazy, it might be a blast, it might not be any good at all. Whatever, we're here for it. Our guests are here for it. This podcast is here for it. Thanks so much for being on here. And like always, if you appreciate any of this podcast, please give it a like, follow, subscribe, whatever, wherever you're watching this. Hopefully you're having a great experience. It helps us a lot. I'm here with, I'm hoping this guy becomes a regular. We'll have to see. But like one of my very good friends, a guy who also, you know, we do a lot together. We serve together at church. We complain a lot about our teams.
A lot.
My good friend, Brandon Horan, welcome.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
So for those of you that don't know Brandon's a stand-up guy, man. You're a teacher at Schuylkill Technology Center doing awesome work up there in the business department. Your kids are absolutely crushing it and doing innovative stuff, which I'm sure is why they're pretty excited.
Yeah.
Well, it may be all them, but you've opened doors that I don't want to say, I'm not saying other people weren't opening doors, but you're opening new doors up there for those kids.
Yeah, I think you just build some confidence in them, and they just blow you away with the stuff they can do. I mean, they're smarter than me, they're more creative than me, but I don't think a lot of times they've been provided that opportunity to explore those things. And if you do, it's amazing things happen.
Yeah.
Just get out of the way, really.
Yeah. let them go.
Yeah. Yeah, and they do awesome stuff. They really do.
But you got, it's more than just getting out of the way. You got to get out of the way, but you also have to show them opportunity.
Yeah, you have to show them opportunity, and I think instill trust in them that they're willing to take risks. They're willing to, join clubs and compete and put themselves in challenging situations that they never would before, ever. Yeah. So, and once you do that, they do the rest.
Well, what I love about that, though, is we're in an area where not a lot of people are talking about opportunity.
No, especially some of these kids. 100%.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I hear it a lot. Like, I don't know if I'm going to stay around. There's just not opportunities here. It's a pretty common thing. Like, we don't have opportunity, especially for younger people talking about that. And I think people stay because it's a great place. I think it's a great place to raise a family around here. But you hear often there's not a lot of opportunity.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you're a teacher who's showing kids that there's opportunity.
Yeah, and some of my students, they're all over. I have a senior who graduated this year. He's going to Savannah, Georgia for college.
Really?
And if you were probably to ask him that 5 years ago, he'd say no way. And
what would he have said 5 years ago?
I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life. I'm probably just going to stay here and try to work and have some kind of living. And, this kid has such great goals and plans to go to Savannah College of Art and Design, and it's his dream. It's what he wants to do.
Yeah, so just give us a quick overview. I mean, I didn't intend to jump right into STC stuff. I'm very excited about it because I see opportunities for kids that when nobody's really creating opportunities for them. And I shouldn't say that. I don't know their parents. Maybe their parents are creating opportunities, but like
Some certainly.
you're creating opportunities for them. So I didn't mean to get right into all the STC stuff, but I am really excited about it.
Yeah.
Dude, can I just interrupt to say last night I got stung by a hornet in
How do you manage
doing
that?
some yard work in my freaking hand, dude. Do you see how
It's
swollen it is?
swollen. Yeah, for sure.
And it is so sore. Like I couldn't
bet.
sleep last night
I bet.
because it's like all swollen in between
can
my
see
hand
it.
bones, dude.
Yeah, you can see it for sure.
I freaking hate those things.
Yeah, I got stung in the foot the last time. That's what my foot looked like too.
They just come out of the ground.
That's where I was.
Burn them, dude. I'm burning them down.
Yeah. You won't do it.
I sprayed them last night.
You got
And I
him.
ran out of spray, so I don't know if I got them. And my brother's like, dude, dump gasoline in the holes, light it on fire,
I don't know. Dude.
sit back in a chair.
I'm not sure, man. I can't approve that.
I don't know. Well, it's hard because it's under like this nest is like under what do you call those? Like you can buy them at the store. Well, not at the store. Like Agway had them. I think I got them like for railroad ties.
Oh, railroad ties.
You know how you ever see people use them
I
for
didn't even know you can-
landscaping?
Yeah, but I didn't even know you can really buy those.
I don't know if
anymore.
they're healthy because I'm pretty sure they're dipped in some pretty toxic stuff.
It'll be all right.
But they're old.
Yeah.
It's probably worn off.
It'll be all right.
Yeah, people use them for like landscaping
Yeah.
and stuff. I wouldn't use them to build a garden, but like,
For barrier.
yeah, barrier, like hold back. So that's what it is.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, will that whole thing light on fire if I do it?
I think there's a pretty solid possibility of that happening.
But
yeah.
I'm like,
There's only one way to find out.
dude, I need vengeance. I know God says vengeance is his, but
This is a different situation. This is a different situation.
I'm so mad. I woke up at 3 a.m. with my hand throbbing and like couldn't fall back asleep. And I'm like,
Perfect.
I had a singular thought.
They're going to have to pay.
They're going to pay.
They're going to have to pay.
I'm going to kill their children.
Yeah. Absolutely. I take them out.
That's terrible. Anyway, man, you create opportunities. I totally took us way sideways.
It's all right.
You create opportunities. So, like, what's stuff they're doing?
I mean, it's funny. At times, my program is entitled business management. At times, it's titled marketing. I think it really just depends who you're talking to or what piece of publication you might be looking at. But it's really a general business type of class where students really kind of get some foundational information about business, how they operate, how you market a business.
Yeah.
And then we kind of take that foundational information and dive into it in depth as they go through their, later years at the secondary level. But the cool things about that program are the competitive clubs they can join, the student organizations, which really empower them and provide like leadership opportunities, opportunities for personal, professional, academic growth that I think you don't get at a lot of typical comprehensive schools.
Not at all.
And the other really unique thing is, sometimes it takes a little bit to transition. They're typically passionate about what they're doing because they chose to be there. They toured, they got some information, they came back on an open house, and they were lucky enough to apply and get a seat, which is pretty competitive, actually. We have full classrooms with waiting lists.
Yeah.
So, but they're doing all kinds of things. Predominantly, most of my students go to some form of post-secondary journey, some kind of college journey when they leave. That could be a 2-year school, 4-year school, local, out of state. They're all over.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is, they're starting their futures, to hopefully provide for their families and start a life for themselves. So,
Yeah. So I've been up there a bit
yeah. Wow, you've been a big help to our program.
because I sit on what's that thing called?
OAC board.
OAC board.
Yeah, Occupational Advisory Committee it is. It's a big deal, honestly, in career and tech ed. Make
So-
sure we're up to date with industry standards.
Yeah,
and
you
stuff.
got really brilliant thinkers, not me, but like other brilliant thinkers and like people that get stuff done
Yeah.
and create businesses and
100%. Things I haven't done.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really unique thing about STC is we're bringing that real life experience into a classroom with the instructor, but also those OAC boards,
So what I love about going up there is for school, right? Like it's school. Like I have to remind myself it's school.
Yeah.
You guys have all kinds of fun tech.
Yeah.
Podcast set
Yeah.
up. Your kids run a podcast,
All student run.
all student run.
Yearbook,
You,
everything.
you guys print shirts, posters. Like you guys have printed posters for us on that huge printer that sometimes breaks down when I need it most.
Yeah, absolutely. Usually exactly when you need
You
it.
like design stuff for businesses, graphic art stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
they're doing stuff that Like right now, if they were doing that in a company, like there's no difference. They would be making like bank.
Well, 100%. And that's a really cool thing that they're doing, right? Is they're building a portfolio of work before they're even leaving high school. You know, and we'll go through and they'll do their portfolio, this digital portfolio they have to do for the state, and resume and things like that to get ready if employers are looking, or, you know, basically to show and highlight some of the projects they've worked on at school. And they're like, you know, Mr. Horan, I don't really have any kind of, you know, employment history I can put on here. And then we start rattling off all these clients we've worked with, and they're like, wow. And I'm like, that's real life work stuff.
Dude, I'd hire one.
Yeah.
I'd hire one right out of school.
Yeah.
Like
they're great.
Where am I going to find somebody that knows how to set up and run a podcast?
Yeah. They're
right?
great.
Like,
and they did it all themselves.
Yeah.
Never did it.
You got that. Yeah. Like if I needed somebody to edit this, I could send this podcast up to you guys
100%.
And pay your kids to edit it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I might do. That's a great idea.
It's a really cool experience. We had opportunities to redesign the Plain and Fancy logo in Schuylkill Haven, which we did that.
Awesome.
Yeah, we did that. We did a lot of the signage in there. We did shirts for all the staff. I mean, really cool experiences that students don't get. Yeah. And they all get an opportunity to do it. If a client approaches us with a project, every student gets to do it.
And shout out to Plain and Fancy.
Yeah.
I should get Tiff on here.
Yeah, Tiff's great, man.
With
She's
some
awesome.
donuts.
She's awesome. She's a great person.
There's a business locally that also said, let's give these kids opportunities.
Yeah, and she's done continuously, you know, and it's really what makes the program valuable, because it's real life work experience where now the student who did that can drive through Schuylkill Haven and, you know,
and look
10 years from now, I did that logo.
Dude, or drive by with their parents or something, be like, that logo looks awesome.
Yeah.
Like, so businesses can just reach out to you guys and like,
yeah, we work with a lot of school districts. We work with Pottsville Minithon to do their shirts.
Awesome.
Every year we've been working with 8th grade Mr. Yashinsky from over at the high school, who helps us with the auditorium. We've been doing their shirts every year. We do, you know, custom shop shirts. It's pretty cool. Yeah. It's a learning experience. It's something I've never done before. Again,
basically everything marketing you guys can do.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And you guys have competitions where your kids compete regionally and nationally.
Yeah, that's the gold.
That's the goal. They get into that.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're all incredibly terrified to do it. But once they do it, they realize, you know, that wasn't so bad. And I think it's just a huge confidence builder when they challenge themselves, you know, because they don't have to. I don't make them do it because it's very expensive to do it. But if they're invested, then we're all in. And these kids, you know, we'll be a competition and 6 o'clock in the morning, we're in the hotel lobby going over case studies and stuff, you know, and some of the students, the comments I'll get, Mr. Horan, I've never cared about anything with school, like ever. I never won anything academically. Now they're at a 4-year school, you know, pursuing marketing or business, loving it. It's
Dude.
great.
And that's a part of, I don't know if he wants me to say this or not. I had a brother who like really struggled in regular high school.
Yeah.
And then found his niche in the construction / business side of things,
right?
And then excelled. Like it's just about finding where.
What you're
that's
passionate
what
about.
STC is so cool about. That is like, you're starting that process early for kids.
Yeah.
Now I don't know, you know, the kids kind of have to express an interest and know, like that's what they want, just in general. You know, like to get there.
It's a lot. I mean, you're with me from 8 to 3. It's almost like going back to elementary school. You're in that same classroom, so you have to be into what you're doing.
Yeah.
But it's all about the environment. If you create that environment for them where they feel safe and comfortable, man.
Dude, you create a good environment.
I try to. I mean, I think that's my strength. It certainly isn't curriculum or knowing everything about business.
Do it?
I don't know. Connect with kids. Core of it?
Yeah.
You know, if kids don't feel valued or cared for or safe, they're never going to learn.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
And they're never going to, you know, really dive into what it is you're trying to teach them. You know, I learned really quickly at STC, it's not about the latest and greatest curriculum. It's certainly not about having the greatest book or the greatest software to use. All that stuff is great, and you know, it adds to your program, but it's really about the environment.
Yeah.
And when kids feel valued and empowered, man, they do amazing things, especially this generation. I mean, they're phenomenal. I certainly was not that motivated when I was their age, but you give them the keys to certain things and they just take it and run with it. There's no better example than a podcast.
Yeah.
That's all them, not me. I provided them with the tools. We kind of learned together and they literally took it and run with it.
It's pretty cool. Do they have guests on there?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah. Now
from school and stuff?
Mostly the school. Yeah. We'll get, you know, we'll get our social worker on there quite a bit to talk about some mental health things.
Yeah, how come I've never been a guest on there?
That's honestly a pretty good idea. I want to get you in as a guest speaker, man. I mean, I really do.
I'm down for it.
I really do. I mean, the kids would learn
I'm
so
down
much
for
from
it.
you.
So anyway, you provide that opportunity, whether it's in a classroom or not, like that safe. What'd you say? You said
Safe, welcoming, valued, warm environment where they
Yeah.
come in and they know what to expect every day. You
Dude,
know,
you create that at home too.
try to.
You're gonna, everybody should. Like,
Yeah.
and your people are gonna get.
Yeah, it
It's
makes
gonna totally change that.
it makes all the difference in the world when you feel loved and cared for and valued. You know, and unfortunately, to be honest with you, a lot of the students that come in my classroom, you'd be surprised that
Really?
the overwhelming majority don't have that. So
That's
they
a
need
shame,
it. They're
man.
yearning for it. You know, but once they get it, it's amazing the things that they can do.
So that makes me mad.
Yeah,
I
me
want to be
too.
like, parents, man, get your.
Me too. Listen,
Dude, I haven't cussed. I don't want to cuss on my
me
podcast.
neither, and it's likely to happen.
That makes me want to cuss though.
Yeah,
Like,
me too. All the time.
parents can be so self-absorbed. So
Great kids.
self-absorbed. You want to trash your life? Trash your life. Don't trash your kid's life.
Yeah, 100%,
Like-
100% disconnected. I mean, it's
Like, if you don't want opportunities for yourself, that's fine, but don't stand in the way. Like, I know there's maybe parents don't even want to. So there's probably people like they're so self-absorbed they're not gonna create opportunities for their kids. Well, just get out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, and let the kids.
Sometimes the kids that I have in my classroom are the parents at home. It's honestly crazy. It's things I didn't expect because I was very blessed and fortunate not to have that as a child growing up. And certain things that, you know, a loving, warm, caring environment at home that, you know, maybe somebody like myself takes for granted, you realize it's not very common. Unfortunately, I see it every day in my classroom, every day. So I have the opportunity to possibly be a little piece of that safe, loving, valued, caring individual that they don't have. And that's the gold in teaching, man. It really,
Every
really
teacher
is the
can
gold.
make that impact. Every coach can make that impact.
It's the greatest. I have kids.
We need more people, man. We need neighbors. We need grandparents. We need old people on the street making that kind of impact. If parents are dropping the ball, man, we as a society got to pick it up.
Yeah.
But also, parents. Dude,
Gotta do a little better.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I should edit this stuff out or not. But like, let's be better, man.
Yeah.
That's maybe the nicer way to do it.
Listen, I'm far from perfect, but one thing that I'll be confident is, you know, my kids will never have to worry or wonder whether or not I love them, care for them, will always have their back, ever. And unfortunately, man, in my classroom, that's rare in my classroom.
I used to tell high school kids when I would, you know, work with them either here or speaking elsewhere or something. Like I used to, I don't anymore, but I probably should because this conversation reminded me. I used to like always tell them I was proud of them. And I used to do that because I heard it all the time.
Me too.
And then
Yeah.
I heard that not a lot. There's people that have never heard that.
I've gotten that exact comment almost every single school year.
Dude.
I mean, and how easy is that? Kid accomplishes something.
That takes
does
no
something.
time.
I'm telling you. And
No effort, no money.
It
You
makes
just
all the difference,
Don't
man.
be a dirtbag.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think.
Don't be scared of sharing an inkling of emotion with a child.
Yeah.
What else would keep people from saying stuff?
My students see it all, man. They know about my struggles when, you know, I'm having a hard time as a parent, when I'm having a hard time as a person. I share all that stuff with them. I feel like it's important that they see you're human, you know, and it makes an impact for sure, even when you don't think it is.
Dude, I'm proud of your kids.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really blessed. You were a big part of me getting that position. If you remember, I was with you the day that I got that job.
Were we?
Yeah.
We were together?
Yeah, we were over in Cressona. I was practicing for
That's
a set.
right.
And I got the call and we were talking. I didn't answer the phone because I didn't know the number.
That's right.
I checked the email. I'm like, oh, she called me. And then I called right there. And they're like, yo, let's go to the brick house. I'm like, all right, let's go.
That's right, dude.
Yeah.
We celebrated.
Yeah. Yeah, I was with
Dude,
you
that's
that day.
so cool.
Yeah, I don't envision myself ever doing anything else. Ever. I have no interest in being in administration. I want to be in the classroom with the kids connected.
That's awesome.
That's the goal, man.
You're so good at it.
I
So
love it.
anyway, your kids have been really successful.
Yeah.
One of them you flew with one of them to compete. Was
Yeah.
that nationally?
Yeah, yeah.
In California?
In California, in Anaheim, we were there for about 5 days.
Dude, that's a big deal.
It
too.
is. It's a really big deal, and it was an individual event where he was in an event called Apparel and Accessories Marketing, This young man, he's very, very savvy. He's incredibly intelligent. He's a great communicator, and he's into fashion. So like all those things together kind of work perfect for that environment. And he crushed it. He got 3rd overall in the state. And then we went to Anaheim, where he had to hold my hand on a plane.
You had to hold your hand because you're freaking out.
Oh, dude,
dude,
so
you were
bad.
calling me about it.
So bad.
You have a phobia about flying.
Oh, bad.
Real bad.
Yeah.
Almost paralyzing.
Yeah, I think it's a control thing. I'm not sure what it is. Every flight I've been on, I've flown before, and every flight I've been on has been great.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know all about it. Here's where the letters are. Give my family and friends the letters. I'm making videos. I mean, it's
I
crazy,
remember.
man.
Tell the kids this is what.
Yeah. My students got a crack. I mean,
So
thought
it
was
can't
hilarious.
be. It can't be getting any better.
No.
Dude, plays are dropping
No.
out of.
Yeah,
I don't
no.
want to laugh about that because those
No.
are people's lives. But like, dude, it's
It
terrifying.
was happening before we flew.
Because I don't really have a problem flying, and I've been on some hairy flights, like scary kind of like situations.
Yeah, I haven't.
And I don't have that problem. But I was watching the news this year. I'm like, yeah, we're not flying.
Dude,
We'll drive.
It's got to be a control thing because everybody says that.
Yeah.
Driving so much more dangerous, but I have control. Or
Yeah.
what you feel like is somewhat control.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's what the fear is for me. And heights is not my thing.
Yeah.
But I'll go. If I have an opportunity, I will talk about it for 3 months straight and annoy everybody around me. But
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll go, and it's been great every time I've done
You'll
it.
land and sleep for 9 hours to make up for the 3 months. Of
I've never
anxiety.
slept a second on a flight, by the way. Never once. Everybody's like, "Oh, just go to sleep." It doesn't happen.
No.
No, dude. No chance. So, but it was a great experience, man. I mean, he competed against 20-some thousand students from across the world, kids from Germany, China.
That's crazy,
dude. It was amazing.
Skook representing.
Yeah, and it's a sense of pride. Even when we go to states in Hershey, they're bringing the charter buses in, and here's me and another coworker of mine, a good friend of mine, Gary, driving a van down. Yeah, driving a van down to Hershey, dropping us off, and it's crazy.
You and Gary
man.
driving a van.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's either that or the Sixers game that we go to every year with students that we do.
What's that?
So that's also part of DECA, which is our competitive club that we've been talking about the last couple minutes here. They get a chance to see sports and entertainment marketing in a real-world environment. We go down and spend the whole day with the Sixers organization where we meet people from corporate partnerships, ticket sales, advertising. We got to meet the whole social media marketing team last year. Yeah, and I think it's a really good opportunity for students. Sometimes you're doing a project or we're working on a unit or a topic and they're like, how am I going to use this in real life? And then they go down there and they're like, wow. And they get a chance to talk to, a career panel of how did you end up here from where you were, where we're at now?
Yeah.
And, you hear their journeys and they're not very different from, what their journey is.
Yeah.
And it's eye-opening for them. And then we get to go tour the Eagles facility, which is great.
yeah,
Take
go
pictures
Birds.
with the Super Bowl trophies.
Two of them.
In case anybody forgot. And then we go to the Sixers game at night and then come home. I mean, it's like...
Dude, that's a blast.
It's the coolest thing ever.
Especially for us.
Dude, the kids love it. Like, talk about, opportunities. Some of them never left the county. And then I take them down to Philly and we go...
Yeah.
To a professional game, and their eyes are like, oh, my
Checking out
gosh.
all that stuff.
Yeah, it's great, man.
So for those of that people probably that are close to us know, we're crazy Philly fans.
Putting it lightly, yeah.
Yeah. So I say things to you that I would never say to another human being.
Same. And then the following communication is we're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm glad you've never lost respect for me when we're
No.
going through it.
No, honestly, man, I got to be honest with you. It's one of the biggest things that I love about who you are, and you don't pretend to be somebody you're not. And I love that, man. Like, because I have so much respect for you, learning from you, your preaching, and then we have that as well. We
got to get to that preaching bit in a second, but yeah, so we're diehard Phillies fans.
Diehard, man.
Dude, how do you feel about the Phillies right now?
I mean, I think like any Philly fan, we're dealing with trauma from past experiences. I mean, I was at Game 7 when I had to do the zombie walk out of there for the Arizona series,
Dude,
Lucy
so
and I, which might have been my worst sporting experience ever.
Meanwhile, they're sticking the flag out.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I mean, and that was tough. I mean, one of those things too, like, Philly fans, you think, people are going ballistic.
We got a bad
Dead
rap.
silence. Dead silence walking out of that stadium.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't think anybody there
the
expected
souls
it.
were crushed.
Crushed it. We knew early.
I don't care. I still blame it on Stubbsy. I know there's been posting stuff about it, taking it out of context.
You can't be talking about jumping in a pool when
Dude,
it's after game 2, man.
I don't care what the context is.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. You know, I mean, the way we communicate and talk about it.
Hope
you
he's
like
thinking
hold on
about it
until
down in
it's over.
AAA.
I hope so. I hope so.
That's terrible.
No, it's the truth.
They're gonna rip us.
It's the truth.
No,
It's all right.
they're not
They'll
paying
get over it.
attention.
They know better.
Yeah, man. Anything Philadelphia Eagles season is rough too. We
Yeah.
go back. We climb the emotional. We're on an emotional roller coaster.
Usually,
all the time.
within 5-10 minutes, it's the roller
It's
coaster.
literally like going from we're the worst team ever
Yeah.
to we're winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think my favorite texts this past season were that exact thing. They're bums. This is terrible. We're not going to win anything. You know, Jalen pulls it out. Something happens. Jalen Carter gets a big sack. Game over. We're going to win the Super Bowl. And I'm like, absolutely. Yeah, it's the greatest thing. I mean,
we were right.
we were right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were terrible,
Champs.
and we won.
Champs.
Won the Super Bowl.
Champs. Never will change.
Dude, yeah, you're the only person I text or don't text during
Because you don't want to mess
Philadelphia.
up the
Any
juju.
Philadelphia games because you can't mess with it. So, like, you gotta. I pass that on to my kids. There's other pastors that think it's a terrible thing, but I'm
It's who I am.
we're superstitious when it comes to not really. We don't really believe it, but we act like we do.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, my youngest guy had a viral.
Oh,
post.
dude. That was the greatest.
He was putting he decorated for was it the Super Bowl? Or no,
No,
it was
before
a
that.
NFC Championship game.
I don't even know. I think it might have been the Rams game.
Was it the Rams?
Yeah, it
game?
might have been the divisional game.
No, it was a team we blew them out. Who did we play after the Rams?
That was Washington.
It was Washington.
Blew them out.
It was Washington. Because everybody's like, dude, you can let it down. Like, we're destroying them. And he wouldn't. He, like, was putting up. It was still a close game, and he was refixing one of his decorations onto the TV. And as he touched it to the TV, we got a sack. We stripped a ball and recovered it. And then we went down and scored. He held it up there for 3 quarters.
Don't move, man. That's my guy. I'm proud of him, dude. You are raising him right.
3 quarters, man.
Yeah.
We went to a Phillies game, and we were getting blown out. Just me and him, and we were in left. I love left field.
Yeah, it's great by the
Like,
Coca-Cola gate there.
Yeah,
it's great.
I love going in that gate. I love sitting in left field. I love the fans that are in there. There's some regulars, but it's not
Shade.
too. Yeah, it's not too crazy, but it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
You know. Plus, you got such a great view. So we usually try to go there, and we were sitting there, and we were getting blown out by a team. I think it was Arizona actually during the regular season, and I mean, we just hung it out. And he was dying because they started heckling the left fielder, but it was hysterical because it was like the bottom of the 9th. We got to run on. We're losing by 8, and they were yelling stuff like, "Here we come!
Yep.
You better be paying attention!"
We're coming.
Yelling all this stuff.
Yeah,
and on the way out, man, everybody's like, of course, plenty of them are buzzed.
Yeah.
To put it lightly.
Yeah.
They're like, "Way to stay for the whole game, kid. That's what true Philly fans do." Like one guy's like, "Your dad's raising you right. Way not to leave early. We stay no matter what."
It's the greatest, man.
Dude, and he was like, "This is it. This is it."
I feel like we get a bad rap, but, I just feel like it's different. It's special. Even my daughters, like, I've been passing that on to them, and I don't even try. They just watch me.
Yeah.
They sit in the same living room, and, at first, "Dad, stop it, Dad." And then stay a little longer, start asking questions, and then I take them to games. "Come on, let's go." And they'll be screaming, and I'm like, man, I'm so proud right now.
It's fun, man.
It is.
It's not like, I think people think it's angry.
Oh, man,
I don't think so. It's fun.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And of course,
People get carried. There's people that get carried away.
Yeah. I mean, I'll while out during a game and I'll be upset about it, but it doesn't change anything else in my personal
change
life.
your life.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, I couldn't imagine my life without it. It's my earliest memory since I've grown up, going to games with my pap and my dad.
Some of the most fun off seasons are when we've had a terrible season.
Yeah.
Like that's when you have the most stuff to talk about. You
Yeah.
know, you're trying to flip things and
Yeah.
rooting for big signings and stuff.
100%.
But yeah, I mean,
Champs.
I love that about you.
Yeah,
I wore the hat. You wore a hat. I wore a hat.
Always. Everywhere I go.
Drumming.
Yeah.
Man, that was before we get to your journey back to drumming, you didn't jump in
No.
for a while.
No.
But when you jumped in hard.
Yeah, man. That's how I am with things. If I'm in, I'm in.
Yeah.
Committed. And the people we have on that team are just so talented, so
Yeah.
experienced, and that's not necessarily my lane musically. So the only way you can kind of, be able to blend in there is you got to work. You gotta
You're
put the
in
time
here all the time working.
Yeah. Not as much since we've moved. We're kind of at a point where we've kind of built our catalog. But that took hours and hours and hours. Now, it's coming in to maybe refine some things depending on what's on the set and learning
You're
new.
also a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to playing the drums.
Yeah, man. I never want to be a distraction.
You'll be frustrated about something,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Dude? Nobody even heard what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I know, and it's hard. Like, I'd mentioned how we have so many talented folks on that team. Guys that can play multiple instruments, read music,
Yeah.
and I can't do any of that. Like, I literally learned to play the drums from a guy that was on my dad's softball team that I thought was cool. He showed me one beat, and I went from
That
there.
was it?
That's it, man. I never took lessons, nothing.
You ever play in any other bands?
Yeah, I played in a couple. Nothing that ever really got too serious. The last one that I was in, we were kind of starting to play around like a Pappy Tees and Hucklebucks, a place like that. We were opening for a band called Almost One, who's from the area. They're super talented. They've been around a long time. Yeah, and graduated with a lot of those guys. Some of them were a couple years older than me and gave us an opportunity to kind of, play some shows with them, which was great.
That's cool.
Yeah, but this is different.
Why?
Here? I don't know. There's a different layer to it when you're serving to worship. The positive purpose that it provides.
Yeah.
It's kind of selfish, but, when I joined this team, I was at a point in my life where I kind of felt like it might be the last thing I should be doing.
Yeah.
But I needed it more than I realized.
What do you mean? Like you felt like it probably should have been last thing.
Well,
like we're talking
one,
about serving on the band, the worship band that plays here most.
Number one, I still to this day never feel like I'm good enough or worthy enough, and I think a lot of people that serve in different aspects of church probably feel that way.
Yeah.
And there's so many examples of that in the Bible. Like it's just the way it works. And then also, I had so many other things going on in my life, with Mina and my other personal stuff that I'm the kind of person, if I can't be all in, I totally avoid it.
Yeah.
And Scott kept reaching out, and it turned from, once in a while when, our other drummer needed a break to every other week to, hey, he's moving to, I pretty much only take time off in the summer because I'm out and about doing things.
Enjoying your vacation.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine not serving on a worship team, man. Yeah, it's the greatest.
I mean, you guys are really tight too.
Special people, man, that I respect, that I love. Just not on worship team. Everybody in the leadership here at church, it's special. I learned so much from coming here, just watching them interact, watching them be parents.
Yeah.
Watching them go through struggles in life and how they deal with it. And I think that's the beauty of serving on a team. But worship team it requires a lot of effort. It's a big part, I think, of any service that we do.
Yeah.
And the reason I am the way I am is I never want to be a distraction. Where, oh man, did you hear that? But there's so many times I get to look up when I'm playing and you see people with their hands in their air worshiping, or you see tears, and it's like, man, what a blessing it is to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Go over somewhere like Schuylkill Haven Auditorium for an Easter or a Christmas service, and by the time we're done, I played for over 1,000 people.
Yeah.
There's musicians way better than me that don't get that opportunity. So it's just such a blessing, man. It really is. Everywhere I go now, you're the drummer at Grace, right? You're the drummer. You're our drummer. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. It's cool, man. It's awesome.
It is really cool. It's cool doing it together, because when you're doing it together over an extended period of time, you get to see people go through stuff.
Yeah.
And you're there for each other, and you get to not just hear the good stuff. You get to hear, I mean, you've heard my bad stuff. I've heard your bad stuff.
Absolutely.
We both talk about life decisions outside of this place and get advice from each other. And inevitably life has low moments, man. I remember you called me. When you found out Mina had cancer.
Yeah. You were my second phone call. I was not a happy camper.
Yeah. I was at, dude, I don't know why I'm getting a little emotional. I haven't gotten emotional.
I know, me too. I didn't think I was going to be at all, but
yeah, I was at a game, baseball game, and you're calling. I'm like, oh crap. And I told Jen I had to walk away, and I was over there. She was like, is everything okay? I'm like, no, it's not. And
yeah, it's a crazy day, man. I'll never forget that as long as I live. I remember exactly where I called you from. The first phone call was that walkway going into the Pottsville Hospital.
Yeah.
Like in the breezeway kind of. I remember calling you, and then I called you on my way home from there when they were, getting her ready to life flight her and everything. And I didn't know, of course, call my parents first and everything. And then it's like, man, when you have nothing left, sometimes those are the biggest moments that we reach for God. And, at that time, very new in my faith, I had a conversation with you, if you remember, a few weeks before that. And I said, man, I see, the things that you and your family have been through, a lot of the people at church, and you're so faithful. I haven't had those type of moments in my life yet. How do you do it? How do you navigate your faith
We had that
like
conversation.
We had the conversation, and then 2 weeks later, that happened. It was crazy. It was crazy. And honestly, it just strengthened my faith tenfold.
I mean, she's great.
Oh, dude, she's amazing.
She's very healthy.
She's the mayor.
She's good. She beat it, right?
Yeah, she's dominating, and she handled it with grace and personality. I learned a lot from it. A lot.
That's some of the hardest stuff to talk about, because you got such heartbreak.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, especially in the beginning,
and fear and scary stuff. And
I didn't think I was bringing her home.
Yeah.
And that's, as a parent,
that's the worst. There's nothing worse.
Yeah. But her brother that same evening, I was sitting at the island totally a mess and dejected. And he had come up to me and said, she's going to be okay, Biddy. God's got her. This little kid. And that was it, man. I'm like, okay. And she's been dominating ever since.
Dude, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, true story, man. I had my head in my hands at the island, just your mind's racing, oh my gosh, what's the future going to look like? What am I going to do? And he just came over all casual,
Yeah.
Hey, Biddy, it's going to be fine. And I'm like, what? I can't even remember how old he was at the time, but he was young, less than 12.
Dude, Scott uses people like that.
Yeah.
Unexpected.
Yeah.
Just, everybody's always like, where's God? Where's God? And I think a lot of time he's showing up through people that we just don't expect, and sometimes we're not paying attention to.
Yeah, Mina's grandmother reminded me of that, right? She was there for the conversation right away when I looked up. She said, you know where that's coming from, right? And that was all I needed at that time. And honestly, from that moment, my emotions and my feelings toward the situation have always been positive from that very moment. Yeah.
Dude, it was, I hear bad news a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And part of me has to, I feel it all, but there's part of me that has to turn that part off a little bit. You know? Otherwise I'm not a help, and it would just, it would crush me. And so I almost have to not distance, be there for people, but I can't keep carrying that stuff because it's just too much coming from too many places. But I carried that one, man. I cried a lot of tears.
Yeah, man.
For you, for her, for the family.
It's scary, man. It was honestly, I mean,
I remember praying for you guys and just being angry praying.
Me too. That was the second phone call, man.
Drop this, man.
That was the second phone call, man.
Better not.
Yeah, that's what we talked about in the second phone call, because at that point, I was kind of switching to the anger thing.
Yeah.
I'll remember it as long as I live. You were right there with me, and I think that's just really, really special.
Yeah.
It really is. That was a crazy moment, but so many people know who Mina is. I mean, she's just dominating, dude.
Yeah,
she's just
such
amazing.
a light, so much joy.
She really, really is. She's special. And if you didn't know her story, you'd have no idea.
Right.
You'd have no idea. People that I just get an opportunity to know, now in life, when they kind of find that aspect out about Mina or myself, they're like, wow, man. I'm like, hey.
Yeah. Well, I've talked about you guys to other people that are going through it.
Yeah.
And
that's so important, man.
Told that story.
It's so important when you're going through that stuff to talk to people who've had similar situations or circumstances. It's everybody wants to be there for you in that moment, but when you get to have a conversation with people who have dealt with similar kind of things, it's very impactful. But
so, what do you think helped you walk through that? Besides that one conversation, what was your
I mean, for me, because I'm an overthinker, I overthink everything. I had to continuously surround myself with positive people and positive situations, because I needed to fill my cup to be able to go along with Mina, for the journey. And a big part of that, honestly, was worship team. That's when worship team really took a stronghold for me, and I was dealing with some other things in my personal life, and, my faith really grew. When you have nothing else and you're in those desperate situations, and you find those little moments of God showing up for you, that's when you realize it's real.
Yeah.
And everybody has their different circumstances or situations. Right. But for me, that was it. And the outpouring of support of our church family and my friends and, my family, our family, it really carries you. Yeah. It really, really does. But you got to surround yourself with positive things and positive people, because it makes a difference. Yeah. For sure.
Man, I'm so glad that we're on the other side talking about this.
Yeah, me too. And it's a never-ending journey. We go back in August and she gets bone scans and we do all that kind of stuff, but it's just part of the process. Yeah. A lot of this stuff is new. Her type of cancer, most of those patients now are just in their 50s and 60s since they started these kind of treatments. So they're learning a lot about the effects of those treatments and the longer portions of your life and how you handle them. And that's kind of where we're at now. It's just called survivorship. So it's where you've always wanted to be. Yeah. It's just the next step in the process. And it's going to be part of her life forever.
Lifelong journey.
Yeah. Definitely the scariest moment of my life, I think, has built me and helped me grow the most. Because you don't realize the things you can handle and the things you can go through until you're faced with that obstacle. Yeah. And it goes back even to those kids at STC that we talk about. When you go through something and you realize, wow, we did it. Yeah. It's just really empowers you,
There's something beautiful about that, man. And people don't ever live life, never experience any of that, just stepping out and realizing that you can handle more than you thought you could. You're stronger than you thought you were.
Never in a million years did I think I'd be able to go through something like that. Like that first day, of course, when everything's first hitting you, like this is it. This is the end of everything. Yeah. And then you just take one day at a time, one appointment at a time, and next thing you know, she's a champ.
Yeah. Switching subjects. You hated my preaching. I remember, dude, I'm a good public.
Dude, that's a heavy word, man.
I don't want to sound obnoxious, but I take a great pride in my public speaking skill, the skill level, special, right? Man. I tried to, and I've never just relaxed or rested on natural ability or what we call in the church world gifting, because I believe everybody has a gift, a spiritual gift. Sure. And that there's great joy when we start using that. We step into our purpose and our meaning. And I think, some of that is this ability I have to communicate with people in front of people. But I also work on it really hard. Yeah. So I've changed how I do things, every year I try to find something to get better at. And I'm constantly evaluating myself and working on it just because I think it honors God to steward that gift well, even though, it's not for his approval or anything, but I've been given this, to use. I don't want to just take it for granted.
100%.
So I take, I don't know how to say this. It's supposed to be transparent, podcast. I like knowing if I'm good or not. I like to.
You ask me all the time.
Right?
Yeah, you ask me all the time.
I remember one time we had this conversation. I think we were sitting in my office. And you're like, "Yeah, man. When I first come in here, I just really didn't like your preaching. I wanted to come when your dad was preaching, not when you were preaching." I was like, "Dude, what are you talking about?" My dad's a great guy, right? Mm-hmm. He's so gifted in so many things and connecting with people, and people loved him, and that came across in his communicating.
100%.
But as far as the tactical skill of communicating, I was like, "What are you talking about, dude?" I'm executing this so well.
No, so for me, if you remember at the time, we were visiting some churches in the area, and I grew up Catholic. Yeah. And, we were coming to walk into church that Sunday, and, I saw hot chocolate. I saw football jerseys. I'm like, what is going on here, man? This place is crazy. And then, I heard your dad preach, and he just has that knack in him. But I was more used to a more traditional
Yeah.
type of situation. And then the next week I was in, you were preaching, and I remember the message.
You remember the message?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah, like 15 years, man. I
Holy
remember it.
crap.
And it was about, it's funny, some of the things that we're talking about. It was about how you can come to church on Sundays, and we're glad you're here. We love you. We're glad you're here, but you're not going to get anything out of it. What you really should be. You need to be more involved, to join a team, to join a small group, to really grow. That's what you have to do.
That's what I preached about back then.
Dude, I was mad. I was
have
like,
no-
who's he to tell me I need to do this, blah, blah, blah. But you know why I felt that way is because you were right. You were right. What I was used to in church on Sundays was, Monsignor at that time would either talk about the Notre Dame game the day before.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, come on, we got the Birds at 1 o'clock. We got to get out of here. When I came here, I felt challenged. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way because you were right. So it took me a
I'm not
little.
always right.
No, but in that circumstance, you were. You were 100% right. And, I almost dove in like that because of my circumstances. And I was like yearning for, I'm not sure exactly what, but those positive, circumstances or positive purpose that worship team gives you. And once I did that, it totally changed, my church life, my faith. Like, it made sense what you were saying. But I've never been challenged in church before.
Yeah.
And I was like, this dude, and then like I couldn't imagine not coming on Sundays. It would be Wednesday or Thursday, and something would go on, and I would think about something you said on Sunday, and I was like, wow, this is really what it's about. And then I kind of understood,
So you don't hate my preaching anymore?
No, dude, like I have so many conversations about this place outside of these walls. And, usually because, you're the preacher here, you're a big central topic of that. And I always share that story with people.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people we talk to, they'll come from similar backgrounds or, rough church experiences, whatever it may be. And I share that story because I'm just like them.
Yeah.
Walking in the doors. Very critical and like, hot chocolate and, it isn't about that stuff.
I don't think
though,
you're
dude.
talking hot chocolate. I don't think we have hot chocolate anymore.
No, people brought hot chocolate though. And
People
I was like,
brought-
dude, yeah, and coffee. And
Dude,
I'm like, what's
maybe we
going
need
on?
to bust out the hot chocolate.
Yeah, but don't we do that on Christmas Eve services sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I struggled with it big time, and I kept coming back, and there was a reason I kept coming back, and
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine not being here, man. It's special.
I think everybody's yearning for like connection and meaning and purpose, like deep down. And sometimes we're yearning for it, but we still build up barriers.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like because it's scary too. It stretches you. It's uncomfortable. Kind of conversations are uncomfortable, and so much of us just wants comfort that it's scary to step out of those things or let down our barriers. Like,
but that's where real growth happens, right?
and that's ultimately you can't find your purpose.
Correct.
If you're spending all your effort being comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
you're people will never find their purpose and meaning if their motivation, their goal, what they're striving for is comfort.
100%.
People will never find their potential, meet their potential, like experience their potential if they just want comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like the biggest barrier, I think, for people to really experience even joy, right?
Yeah.
Like even real joy isn't found in comfort.
Yeah.
Numbness you can find in comfort.
Yeah, 100%. Status quo.
But you look at so many different things, like, right? What are we doing with addictions? We're trying to comfort ourselves. What are we doing with like anything, like jacked up sexual stuff? It's like self-soothing stuff, like
100%.
we're spending all this time like trying to snort or, smoke or whatever our way to comfort. That's pretty harsh, but like even like spending money, eating
temporary things.
too much crap food,
Temporary
like
things, man.
and I'm guilty of it too, right? Like I eat way too much ice cream, but it's just comfort.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the biggest obstacle, I think, for people to really step
And that's
in.
what you were doing. Like, you're talking to the congregation, but there's so many talks every week where it's like, he's talking to me. This is for me. And that was one of those situations, and I didn't see it or believe it at the time. But, then I got to know you a little more. Again, the sports connection.
Yeah.
Always talk softball with your dad
Yeah.
and you. And then that, kind of, I was able to let my guard down a little bit, And it's funny the way God works, just the progression then of, okay, I'll fill in only when I'm needed, but only when I'm
Yeah,
needed.
right, I remember
once
that.
in a blue moon, and then all right, I'll do once every other week, and hey, we kind of need you all the time, or we're not going to have anybody. Okay, and I couldn't imagine doing anything different, man.
I'm so thankful that you're doing it.
I love it. I mean, it's a blessing. It really is.
Yeah,
it really is. We put a lot of work in the worship
people
team.
have,
I think people
have
don't
no
see.
idea.
And again, it's not about. I think sometimes I struggle with. It certainly isn't about like the show.
No,
it's not about that. But worship is such a key component for people to be comfortable at church, or I think either grow their relationship with God or start one. Music's a powerful thing.
It's powerful.
Very emotional. I'm an emotional person. I think that's why I've always connected with music, like really, really emotional.
Yeah.
Really emotional for better or for
stories.
worse. Yeah, for better or for worse. And music does that, and I see it every week in here with people. And I think that's why we're so dedicated. Is we just want to be a part of people being able to grow here in their relationship with God. And it certainly isn't, there's a lot of production and things that go on with it. But it's not about the show. It's about helping people connect.
People that are about the show don't last.
No.
This is my opinion, and you don't have to speak directly to it. I'm not talking about any particular people, but in my experience over the last how many years that we've been doing this stuff, I think people that are into having a microphone or having their instrument on a stage because that's what they want to do and that's what they love to do, and it's a little bit, maybe not all about them, but it's a little bit about them.
Yeah.
And people that are into the show, they don't last.
Mm-hmm.
They don't last because it's not about us at all, and we're investing so much time putting all this effort into offering this gift right to God and to the congregation.
Yeah.
That it really, I think it weeds out people that have misaligned intentions. And I think what's so awesome about the group now is you have the band, and I get people comment all the time, especially since moving down here, it's kind of opened us up to a whole new group of people, and I get text messages like, "Yo, man, that was tell the band they were tight," and
awesome.
whatever cool lingo people say about bands.
Yeah, on point.
On point.
Yeah.
But I think what's so cool about it now is you guys all are for the right reasons, serving for the right reasons.
Yeah, 100%. I think you made a great point, though, how it weeds people out. Because, we've kind of seen that.
Yeah.
People kind of come on, you maybe see them a week or two, if that, and then it slowly dissipates, and then, they're gone. Where, you have a new guy like Ben, for example, came in, and he dove right in, and he's in.
Yeah.
And you could just tell the differences. It wasn't something I thought would have any kind of staying power with me, but like I said, I can't imagine not doing it.
And there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, there's some people that life circumstances change, and they have to bounce because
100%.
life. And we always say, bounce. There are things more important. Like your family is more important.
Right.
Those relationships you need to protect.
Yeah.
And you should not sacrifice them.
Yeah.
Or stress them out to do this, right? But so that happens too. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. Like, you're doing it for the right reasons. You're stewarding your gifts, just like I try to with my, preaching or whatever. There's great joy because you're experiencing your purpose.
Yeah.
Some of your purpose is up there, and the community with each other.
There's a lot of joy, man. I mean, we have those big services over at Schuylkill Haven for Easter and Christmas Eve, and it's so much work, for all of us. It's stuff that people just don't see, but when you have those services and we're in the back there, afterwards, it is just such an amazing opportunity to worship with 700 and some people in one service and just be a part of it. That's what it is. It's just being a part of it.
Yeah.
And we're no different than anybody else, whether we're on worship team or you're preaching. Right. Everybody's the same. Everybody has different gifts.
Yeah.
But I love it, man. It's great. And honestly, I love the music.
What's running rent free in your brain?
Rent free right now is what Phillies are going to do at the trade deadline to hopefully win a World Series.
Dude, I'm checking all the time.
Yeah, and I just wrapped up coaching baseball, Little League, and All-Star season's done now.
Yeah, I love that you do that.
Yeah, it's the greatest, man. It's another one of those things where a friend asked me to help, and it's like, oh, okay, I have the time, and my wife is incredible and supportive.
She is.
And she's like, Brandon, just go do it. And now I'm like, man, I love it, dude. Coaching football in the fall. I mean,
that's so cool, man.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude.
Good.
It's awesome. It's kind of like teaching. You know,
Yeah.
you have an opportunity to be a positive person in kids' lives and see them do amazing things, and it's awesome.
We need
It's a
more
gift.
people like that doing that.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it.
And what I love about it too is you're not coaching your kids.
No.
You're
no.
coaching like that's.
I do, but not in a baseball
right,
situation.
right.
No.
Like so that's like, dude, it's not daddy ball.
No.
You know, you're just genuinely there to help.
Yeah, man. I think I'm just really grateful for the opportunity. It's the same field I stepped on as a kid.
That's pretty cool.
You know, and I love it. I mean, obviously my playing days are kind of behind me,
Yeah.
so it's a great way to be connected to the game. But man, those relationships, just like being a teacher, just like being here serving, the relationships are the greatest, man. It's what life is all about, in my opinion. Relationships.
We'll get you back on here. We'll talk a lot of sports. Thanks for being on here, man.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
You're an incredible friend. Super
you.
glad we're in this together.
I'm grateful for you, man. Thank you so much.
Well, everybody, thanks for being on here for this episode, another episode of the I'm Here For It podcast. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being on here with me and my friends. So thankful for Brandon for being on this. Whatever you got going on in life, we're here for it. There's hope. Whatever you have, whatever you're thinking, there's always hope. Just one day at a time, walk through, step into your purpose. Don't let comfort get in the way of you experiencing the more of life that is there for you. So we're here for it. Whatever you got, my guests are here for it. Thanks so much for being on here, man. And we'll see you guys at the next episode. Next episode.
Dr. Dre.
Just to put a little Dre in there.
Dun, 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 dun.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to the I'm Here For It podcast. Just a quick reminder, the thoughts and opinions shared on this show are our own. They don't necessarily represent the thoughts and opinions of our employers, our places of business, our families, or maybe even people that don't want to be associated with us anymore. And honestly, sometimes we even question our own thoughts and opinions after these shows have aired. We're not doctors, therapists, lawyers, experts in anything except maybe overthinking things. Well, maybe some of our guests are some of those things, but for real, this podcast is not about offering you professional or therapeutic help. We're just here having fun. It's for entertainment purposes and maybe a little bit of education. Yeah, we hope it can make your life better and make you smile and encourage you a little bit. But seriously, this is more like a group chat that you didn't know you needed. So don't take anything too seriously from us without at least double checking it with someone who actually knows stuff. Stay kind, stay curious, and no matter how weird it gets, we're here for it.